Becoming a good coach and becoming a good mentor are very useful skills. So if you get good at being able to give people feedback, being able to give people coaching and get people better at things, you will improve everyone around you and you'll improve yourself.
Hello team, Adam Cogan here from SSW TV, and today I have Ulysses Maclaren. How are you, Ulysses?
All right, how are you doing?
Good. Well, you're going to be doing even better after this. We are talking about mentoring.
All right.
What do you think of when you think of mentoring?
Okay, it's a bit of an overloaded term because it could mean training, it could mean being your buddy, it could mean being a coach. We sort of think of it in 2 or 3 ways. So you've got mentoring for a client. We have a consulting type called mentoring, which is when an existing development team might get a cloud expert or a DevOps expert or a Scrum expert to join their team and help mold the team and give all their skills through osmosis.
Yes.
So that's one type of consulting mentoring.
And then there's the internal one.
Our own mentoring, so mentoring each other. And that is either ad hoc, you have an informal relationship where I may come to you for advice every now and then about certain topics, or you can schedule it. So you can have scheduled mentoring where you literally set aside time with your mentor once a month as a touch point to say, right, what are your dramas this month? What do you need help with? Okay,
let's start with the ad hoc. What is ad hoc mentoring?
So ad hoc mentoring is probably the most common type, and it develops organically to some extent. I'd say you are an ad hoc mentor to me. I come to you for advice and vice versa, I think, to some extent. We mentor each other. We're kind of accountability buddies, which we'll get into later.
Okay.
But yeah, that's just when somebody comes to you and says, hey, I'm trying to get into this thing, Power BI, conflict resolution, account management, whatever skill it is that you think someone's good at that they could help you with. You ask them, can you mentor me in this topic?
Oh, and that continues ad hoc.
Exactly. So just whenever you have a drama, you go and say, hey, can I ask you, I've run into this problem. And because you've set up the relationship, it sets the space for the conversation.
Is it a benefit to say, can you mentor me differently than just say, hey, Yuli, help me with this?
Well, as I said, it sets up the space for the conversation. So I've got a relationship with, for instance, Penny, who's one of our account managers, because she was a junior when I was already general manager. And as she went into account management, I took her under my wing, but we sort of set this relationship up where whenever she has a problem, she comes and says, hey, I've got an issue. And because we've set up the relationship, it's not out of the blue. It's not like, well, I'm busy. I feel a bit of, I have to help her because I feel that I've committed to her growth.
Right.
So it sort of helps someone have a stake in your success.
Right. Okay. Now tell me about the planned scheduled mentoring.
That would be where instead of just having it ad hoc, you would actually set aside, say, half an hour a month or a week or however often you want to do it to have a specific touch point. So where you would say, you meet, you don't necessarily have anything on your agenda, but you meet and you think at that point, what in the areas that this person is mentoring me, could I ask this person? So it just sort of enforces that you're going to get some benefit out of your mentoring relationship, which is nice. It also helps at scale because if you have ad hoc relationships, you can't be mentoring 1,000 people ad hoc. But if you're doing it scheduled, you know exactly how many people you can handle and you can set a limit to how many you set as your mentees.
So most people are good at a certain domain, whether it's Angular, React, Azure, DevOps, whatever. And most people can handle mentoring a couple of people at a time. Could I do a role play with you? And we'll just go through it. And let's just try to set up that space. So, Yuli, I want to get better at Power BI. Would you be my mentor?
Absolutely, yeah. Is Power BI the main thing that you think you need to get better at?
Well, I know I'm good at Angular and .NET, and I don't really deal with the database side, so I felt like it was a hole. So I know you're good at it. So,
sure.
How does this mentoring thing work?
All right. Well, I suppose if you want to come to me every time you have a problem, ad hoc, that is fine. But let's set up a schedule so that once a month at least we're touching base to see if you've got any dramas. We'll try it for 3 months and see how you go. You may want to move on at that point.
Okay. All right. So what do we do for these 3 months?
Now that we've set this up, I now think of myself as your mentor, which means that when you come to me with a question, I'll understand the context of you are trying to get better at this thing in general. So I'll know immediately, okay, I get into the space of, this person is trying to get better at this and I'll help them. It also means that I'm more likely to give you advice that is process orientated instead of just result orientated, because you're trying to get better at this forever. You're not trying to get this result over the line.
Right.
Which sets up that expectation.
Okay. Now, what's the accountability buddy thing?
Okay, so a mentor-mentee often is a senior with a junior, or someone who is really good at something and someone who's not so good and wants to be more like the person who is good at something. An accountability buddy could just be someone who you think has good integrity, who you think is good at keeping themselves or other people on track. So that doesn't need to be a senior. That could be a very organized receptionist. It could be anyone. So an accountability buddy is someone, literally, it's as it sounds, they keep you accountable. So you say to whoever it is, I'm going to do this thing by this date. And when that date comes up, they say, did you do the thing? And if not, they don't let you off the hook. They say, why didn't you do it? What are you going to do next time? How are you going to be better at that? So it's someone you have to have good integrity with. And you're hanging your hat on that. You're saying, I promise to you that the goals I set myself and share with you, I will hit, or I will have a bloody good reason not to.
And have you actually been an accountability buddy for him?
I have, yes, for a friend of mine called Mars.
Right. And what have you done?
We had a weekly meeting. She set up a whole business.
Oh, really?
So she's now a dog walker and trainer. And it was based on a Trello board and items that we marked as red that she was setting herself accountable for that week. And if she hadn't got it done, she had a bloody good reason.
Right. Okay. Well, that's fascinating. I think that we have picked up a few things. So there's a few different ways of doing mentoring. Is it driven by the mentor or is it driven by the mentee?
Ideally, it should be driven by the mentee, because you don't really want to get mentored. If I go to you and say, hey, can I give you some advice? It's very different from you coming to me and saying, hey, can I get some advice? You're going to take it much more if you want it. So it should be driven by the mentee.
Right. Well, I'm going to give you one final piece of advice that I've picked up because I've been mentoring my entire life, I think. And that is, when you choose that you want to get better at something, also check whether that thing that you want to get better at is what other people think you should get better at. If I go to Uli and I want to get better at Power BI, it's a good idea to ask a bunch of people I respect, if I'm going to use Uli for mentoring, what topic would you get him to help me with? And I might think it's Power BI because he's good at that, but others might say, actually use him for conflict resolution, or use him for communication with clients or presentation, or some soft skill rather than a technical skill. I think that's kind of the best advice I can give you, so that your other people are telling you what you should get better at rather than just what you think you need to get better at.
Yeah, excellent. One other thing from me as well is that becoming a good coach and becoming a good mentor are very useful skills just to give you authority on any topic. So if you get good at being able to give people feedback, being able to give people coaching and get people better at things, you will improve everyone around you and you'll improve yourself.
Right. Don't think of mentoring as just the people that are very senior. People that are, quite young are very good at certain things, and they can offer their skills to other people that they might think are older, but might want to, pick up some of their skills and not even get to their level. So everyone can be a mentor and everyone can be a mentee. So I hope that was useful. Thank you, Uli.
No worries.
And this is Adam Cogan signing off for SSW TV.